The NFL did announce that they were not going to discipline the St. Louis Rams players who used the hands up, don't shoot gesture on Sunday. When the Rams offense was being introduced, tight end Jared Cook, receivers Kenny Britt, Stedman Bailey, Givens and Tavon Austin stopped near the tunnel and raised their hands to show the support for protesting the protesters in Ferguson. Goodell says they're not going to discipline them. Tony House, is that the right call?
You know what? You're walking a fine. Yeah, I mean you're walking a fine line. I mean, at the end of the day,
they should be disciplined.
Again,
Come on.
show solidarity and.
You got to play football, not make a political statement,
this is a trust.
and not agitate the already exacerbated situation that's been going on in Ferguson, a night and day, 7 days a week, where people have not been able to live a normal life in their homes. That was terrible. That was a bad decision. And again, the NFL has shown that they can't police themselves, and it was stupid. They should have been punished.
Well, I don't know about that, Frank.
They'll all be cut eventually. They'll all be cut. They'll be eliminated from that roster. You watch. They're not going to put up with that. That's disgusting. As Frank said, it exacerbated a situation that didn't need another can of kerosene, and it was done by 5 stupid dogos.
And I'm going to tell you, one of the most famous...
And put your whole team in the package. You insulted the St. Louis Rams, the St. Louis police, and all police officers across North America. I don't know how you think you're going to impress anyone with that bullshit.
So I'll go back to you in time, and Bill, and ask you about the Olympics when John Carlos and Tommy, I think it was Tommy Smith, did the Black Power salute.
Yes, sir.
So it was a very important moment in terms of...
Very selfish, self-centered move, not unlike the 5 football players in the city. And those people, those types, have a propensity to be extraordinarily self-centered under the disguise of some cause that they consider to be very worthwhile. Unfortunately, they don't have a lot of people that go along with them.
All right, but play devil's advocate here. If you're Roger Goodell and you're in all the trouble that Roger Goodell is in, do you really want the next day's headline to read, Goodell suspends or fines players for supporting the protest of a cop killing an unarmed black teenager? Is that the look Roger Goodell wants right now?
Punish them.
No, and I think that it's not Roger Goodell's problem. It's the St. Louis Rams' problem. They should cut 5 of them. Right now, call them in and say, boys, we do not condone that type of behavior. I don't care how good you are as a football player. You broke your contract. You insulted the name of the St. Louis Rams, and you insulted all of your teammates. You are gone.
I think it was extremely reckless action. I think it was a reckless bullshit. It didn't show solidarity. It wasn't about the thing. It was a satire that they didn't know if they're coming on the field and there's police out there, if they should put their hands up. It was a satire. It was irresponsible. And I think Goodell and the ownership of the team should punish these fucking guys.
It has happened before where a player has lifted up his jersey and there was something written on his shirt as his own personal protest. Roger Goodell could have very well, and it wouldn't have been outside of his realm of responsibility, to fine these guys. He chose not to.
Let me ask you a question, Perry. You've been covering sports a long time. You too, Carlin. If a Toronto Maple Leaf tomorrow gets on the ice, or any team, any professional team, and he's wearing different socks than all the other players, he's going to get fined by the league.
Yeah, that would have to do with uniformity.
Yeah.
This is a little different.
Not the same shit. If you are taking your uniform off during a game where you're not supposed to do that, that's a breach of the game.
But that's not what they did. They just put their hands up.
You better not have your NFL sweater on.
Guy who lifted up his shirt and had something written on his body in protest that Perry just brought up.
So here's an example where Daryl Sittler has the C cut off his jersey. He's making a personal protest about something that happened on the team. Should Daryl Sittler have been fined, suspended, or traded on the spot because he basically...
I would have shut him down.
That's why he did it. He was traded on the spot. The deal wasn't made, but he was literally traded in the next week and a half.
Yeah, but it wasn't the very next day. Like I'm saying, boom, there goes the dynamite. Get rid of him right away. It didn't happen right away.
That was the end of his career with Toronto when he did that.
And he probably knew that. But what I'm saying is he made a personal...
You know that.
He made a personal protest, probably knew the consequences, but did it anyway. So
I think you got to put apples with apples. Daryl Sittler was disgusted with the ownership for himself. For him, he was representing himself. He wasn't speaking for anybody. So, I really kind of understand that emotion. I really do. I don't understand football players who are coming out to play a game in St. Louis with all the shit that's going on, and they make a reckless decision like that to instigate, and in the great words that Bill said, another can of kerosene in the fire. I think it's bullshit. I think it's unacceptable, and I think Goodell should go a set of fucking testicles and punish them, and the ownership of that team should do the same thing, because I don't think that was just a little thing, and it should be let go. I think that you're there to play football, and you're representing your team, and I think it's just horrible that these people think that it's a good idea to do shit, and it turns terrible, and it was terrible. It was terrible, and it just continues the fight and the resentment and the stress between one group and the police.
But Tony House,
or many groups.
Tony House, couldn't you make the argument that these players are showing support for the town of Ferguson, for the community of Ferguson, more than anything else?
Again, I'm not in the heads of those players. I think this is a very sensitive issue, and you can call it what it is, racially driven. And we're talking about a young black man. Would we be talking about this if it was a black officer? Would he have shown attitude for a black officer? There is hey, let's call a spade a spade. There is a definite rift, and has been for hundreds of years. And there's a lack of trust between African Americans and the white person.
Americans on that police force.
Yeah, well, to some degree for sure, and law enforcement. But this is a very sensitive issue. If St. Louis cuts 6 black players, we know that predominantly there's a lot of African Americans playing in the NFL. This is not just this is bigger than, it's a large can of worms, and it's not going to be solved.
And listen, I'm not.
It's a very.
I'm in Canada and I'm in Toronto, so I'm not going to judge the people of Ferguson because I don't know what their life is day to day and the way their relationship is with the police department. I really don't know. The only thing that I've been exposed to is the protesting, the pillaging, and the incredible level of animosity that's gone on that it's attracted the attention of the whole world. It's detracted from a lot of other things. Everybody's had this attention there. And after that day, apparently in LA, in New York, in Chicago, in Philadelphia, there was protesting and burning and looting and a whole bunch of shit going on. So it's got to come to a stop. And like I said, and I don't want to continue, because I think it's disgusting. I think it's unprofessional that a football player making $1 gazillion, who is protected by the very police that they were showing this sarcastic or satire, that they're coming onto the field with their hands up, is rude. It's completely a thoughtless, stupid thing that they decided they thought that was a good thing to do. Bullshit. And so if Goodell doesn't want to punish them, he's got no balls. Maybe he put them someplace in replacement for money. And I think he would have got more respect. I disagree with you, Perry, that he was going to get backlash for disciplining those guys.
I didn't say he's getting backlash because it couldn't be any more than he's getting right. He's just getting. What I want to ask you, Frank, is honestly, if something you're Italian, if something happened that involved a particular incident involving an Italian person, would you be more sensitive to it than you would?
Listen, an Italian officer from Italian background who was the officer who killed a young kid last summer. I was all over that guy. I was very upset with him. I wasn't upset with him because he was Italian. I was upset with him because I thought he murdered a child for no reason. So it doesn't matter. I'm not a bigot. I've never been prejudiced in my life. I think every single person is the same. The only difference is the way they play the game. And it's horrible that we are lucky. We invent things to make our lives better every single day. And we also the irony is people are only happy when they're fucking miserable. They always find a way to fuck things up. And I hope for all the children and all the families in Ferguson that they come to a middle ground, and everybody finds a little peace and harmony. There was an incredible picture in a paper of a young black boy hugging a police officer, because I think the kid had enough. He had enough of the tragedy and the emotion and the violence, and everybody lost. Nobody's had a home since this has happened.
Yeah, and Frank, I saw that same picture, and apparently the situation behind that picture was the kid was standing there with a sign saying free hugs, and it was actually the cop that came over and took him up on it. So, for every Darren Wilson, there is a good person on the force.
I think there's a lot of great police officers, and all of us will never know what really happened there, other than the police officer and the people who actually witnessed it, and the man who passed away, unfortunately. Tragic for a bunch of cigarillos. Stupid. Fucking horrible. Unfathomable. I can't understand it.